Hey guys, we're back, and like I said in the first video, today is part 2 of the powder coating with no air compressor. We're going to go about how you can get professional results and actually show you step by step how to achieve those results. Let's get started. So this is what we're going to be using. I haven't got the 210 hooked up in my garage yet for my main oven, but if anything this is more practical because not everyone has space for a big oven. So we're going to do a little part today, and I kind of have the shelf rigged in here because you're going to want to suspend that part up inside your oven so it's not touching anything. We'll go over that in a second. For the purpose of this video, we are going to be powder coating this itty bitty piston. You can see it right there, all aluminum little piston. It actually came out of a weed whacker. So just because of that, it was kind of cool. We're going to powder coat this black. Alright, so go over materials quick. I told you that this was nice and easy to do. This toaster oven you could get just about anywhere. I got this one at Menards, and I got this one, instead of having the toastiness settings, it actually has a temperature reading. So I think this was $28. So nice and cheap. We got oven cleaner. I got 2 cans of oven cleaner, and these are actually, they contain lye, and like I said, it's really bad for you to breathe in and don't get it on your skin, but it works really well to clean all sorts of these parts off. This isn't painted per se, it's just aluminum, you see that? But it's still, you want to get it clean so that your powder adheres to it and you get a nice even coat. So I'm going to go spray this off with some oven cleaner so we can get going. Alright, so while that sets up, we'll go over the other things that we added to this. Obviously, we have the kit that we talked about a few weeks ago, highly recommend. And then aside from that, there's a few other things you're going to be needing. I usually get like an abrasive sponge, Scotch-Brite pad will work good too, sandpaper, stuff like that. Just be careful to use sandpaper not to like get a bunch of rough marks in your metal. And then we have toothbrushes. This is a $1 pack of 6 toothbrushes I got at the dollar store for literally $1. So this will help if especially got a lot of little places to get it clean into. Then you're going to want a cotton-free rag. These are just some microfiber rags, also from the dollar store, so that when you're done getting the once you're done getting the oven cleaner off, you can actually wipe everything down with one of these, and it's not going to leave any behind any little fuzzies from the rag. And I also highly recommend using a solvent to clean your part with after you get the oven cleaner off. I usually use acetone, but something like a brake cleaner or stuff like that, I've used that stuff before, that will also work. If there's any spots that you can't really get to that easily, or you're just being really stubborn, if you have like a bench grinder with a brass wheel on it, you can use some of that to get other stuff off as well. So again, here's our parts that we have. We got the toaster oven here, we got oven cleaner, abrasive sponges, toothbrushes, microfiber rags, and the powder coating kit. Let's get started. Meet you out in the garage. Alright, so this is my garage / workshop. It's still getting set up. I mean, I've been doing a lot of housework, that's why these saws are out. My wood stove for the cold months since we're in Minnesota. Bear with me, haven't been in the house that long, not completely set up yet. Alright guys, so we're ready to go out in the garage. My piston is all nice and clean now, you can see that. So that's ready for powder coat. These are just extra rags. I already wiped it off, and like I said, use some sort of solvent, use some sort of cleaner so you make sure that you have all the debris off of your product before you go to powder coat it. Alright, now I just wanted to mention to you guys as well, I should put this early in the video, I almost forgot. These are the results you can expect. So this is a valve cover for a Mazda B2200, and I actually did, it's called Semi-Metallic Aqua Crinkle Coat. Now, this is one of the very first things I ever powder coated. Kind of hard to tell, let it focus here, but super even coverage, and this thing turned out awesome. Now, this valve cover right here, just to tell you how tough this stuff is, when I finished this, I had a hole in one of my gloves, and I burnt my hand on the underside here, and I dropped it on the ground, and it bounced all over the place, and I thought for sure that I would have wrecked my paint. I picked it up, looked it over. This was all over the floor, bounced all over, and there's not a single spot on it. Alright, so my oven that I normally use is behind us over here, but these are the results you can expect with this system. This is the exact same method I used, oven cleaner and everything, on this valve cover. So I'll put that aside. Now we're ready to coat our piston. It's all good and clean. What I like to do is get a piece of wire or like a little spring like this. I'm just going to pull it apart here and use this as a hook. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you put this on a part of your item that you're not going to see, or you don't care that much if it gets touched. Now there's different ways you can make brackets and stuff like that. My valve cover I actually set up on the inside so nothing that got powder coated ever got touched. It depends on your part though how you do it. Just try best you can to figure something out so that you don't get a mark where you were hanging whatever you had. Alright, so now we're getting set up. We're pretty ready to go. I got the power supply plugged into the wall right there. The end of that power supply goes into your gun, just like that. Now, like I said earlier, this is my one that I actually use. The other one I just kind of keep, so I've fixed it. It's kind of taped together, but it works pretty well. I got black powder in there right now. This other green wire is going to actually go onto the piece that you're powder coating. It looks like it's touching it there. It's not actually touching my item at all. But you just ground it to the item, and you'll know if it's working or not working, because if it isn't, the powder is not going to stick to whatever you're doing. So I'm going to get going here. I'm going to coat this black, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so when you do this, it's pretty hard to screw up. Unlike paint, it's not going to run or anything like that, and it's going to get a nice even coat as long as you put enough on, because as soon as that item is covered, as that spot is covered with the powder itself, no more powder is going to stick to it anymore. So you can't really use too much powder, you just have to worry about not enough coverage. So once you get going and you see that you have an even coat all over your item, just like that, you can see we got one little spot there that wire hit, so I'm going to touch that up. Other than that, we got a nice even coating of black. That charge, that's what's actually going to get the powder to stick to your item. So once it's coated and it's pretty well covered, you can kind of go over it, and like I said, you can't overdo it, so don't ever worry about getting too much powder on there, because it's not going to stick once there's a nice coat on whatever item that you are coating. So I'm going to touch up that little spot there, then we're going to get the oven ready. Alright, so now our piston is in the oven. You can see I have it centered between the two heating elements there. It's important you don't get it too close to one or the other. A true powder coating oven has even heat distribution from all angles. Ours aren't going to do that, but you can still achieve good results. Now, it's up for debate how hot you should actually get the oven. If you get it too hot, you're actually going to see your powder start bubbling, and then it's ruined and you have to redo it. So the next part I'm going to talk you through is just how I have received good results. If you use a special type of powder, maybe a 2-part or something like that, it's probably always best to go with the specifications from the manufacturer. This is just how I've gotten decent results every time. We're going to close our item up in the oven, and I like to go to 250 degrees is where I go. A lot of places say you should go warmer than that, but this is about what I do, and it's worked for me every time. Now from there, obviously this is a toaster oven, so it's going to say toasty and stuff like that. You want to go to stay on. Alright, this way it's not going to time out. So I'm going to put it on stay on, and then we're going to wait just a little bit. And I haven't really found a set time necessarily that I let my items bake for. It kind of depends on the part, how big it is, where it's sitting in your oven. But I just check on it frequently, and the powder actually, so right now, it looks like baking powder, right? It just looks like sand on the top of whatever you coated. It's going to actually start to melt. You don't want to wait for it to get to where it looks like the finished product. When it looks like it's all the way melted, that, from my experience, has been too much. So I'm going to go until it looks a little bit shiny, and then it's also going to have some tack to it still though. So it's going to be like halfway in between. It's going to kind of look like powder still, but it's also going to start to have a sheen to it. Once it starts doing that, I usually open the door, turn the oven off, and let the excess heat bake the final portion of the time. And this is going to stink a little bit, so really make sure you do not use this for food after this. You might grow like a third arm or something. So now we're just going to watch our item. You're going to see some smoke. Don't be alarmed. That's just what happens. It's the nature of doing this. Like I said, we're just going to wait till we see it kind of get in that halfway stage. It's going to start to look a little tacky, but it's also going to have a shine to it. So once that shine comes through, I'm going to turn the oven off, open the door, and let it cook down the rest of the way. Also, if your oven doesn't have a light inside, I recommend using a pen light so you can check on your item and see if that tacking, if that shine is actually coming through. So make sure you're watching for that. Alright, so our piston is done cooking in the oven. It got to the point where it was shiny but still had a little texture to it. So what I did is I went ahead and turned the oven off and opened the door. So now we're just going to wait a little bit, obviously, until it cools down. This is actually going to finish the cure of the powder coat. So we're just going to leave it in there. You don't know how long it's going to take to fully cool down. You don't want to get burned. Now, you can do this, like I said, to anything. Doesn't matter as long as it's metal. You can do this to anything. You can do valve covers. You can do all sorts of other engine parts, whether it be aluminum, steel. I'm sure you could do copper and brass as well. But the point is, you can do all this stuff at home and get good results. I think they speak for themselves. Obviously, I would have liked to do something bigger just like this, but my oven isn't set up out here yet. I don't have the correct wiring. So we had to use the toaster oven today, which is even more practical, like I said, because you can literally do this anywhere for little small parts. I know a lot of guys do gun parts and stuff like that. But like I said, I think the results speak for themselves with this kit. And like anything, as long as you take your time and do all the prep work and make sure you're meticulous about cleaning your items, you should achieve a decent result. So this wraps up part 2 of the powder coating video, where we show you how to get good results at home. Make sure you stay tuned. See you next time.